Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70mm podcast for movie lovers just like you. Disclaimer at the top of the show, we're not experts. We're not experts, but we do love watching movies. With me each and every episode is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and baseball expert, Proto.
Schrodinger's cat, Chekhov's gun, Nolan's top, and Dottie's ball.
We'll get into it. Every movie that we cover is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's FEM-BRUARY. We're only selecting movies from the official Women Directors Top 250 list on Letterboxd, and you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip right to that discussion over all our BS. This week, it's Danny's pick from 1992, directed by Penny Marshall, A League of Their Own. Goated Penny Marshall. Save it. We'll get into it later.
Okay.
In that chapter. The big story this week.
What is it?
I've been waiting to bring this up. Jurassic Park 7 Rebirth.
Yeah.
The trailer has dropped.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe Proto did like a live reaction somewhere. I'm not sure if it was a UFO. Maybe it's in the making. Proto, how did you feel when this trailer finally dropped?
I have withheld viewing from this trailer. When this episode goes live on Monday, I will have watched it on Friday and live streamed my reaction to Twitch, twitch.com/protolexus. Be there Friday for initial impressions. We're gonna do it live, and we'll get into it. I can't wait to see what ScarJo and company are bringing to the table.
Okay.
My God. Okay.
Oh, so he's excited.
Proto's out.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Danny, did you watch the trailer?
I did, yeah. I watched it when, I forget who dropped it in the Discord, but I watched it that instant.
Of course.
Gareth Edwards, our sweet prince.
Yeah.
Looking like he's cooking up another magic.
Delicious
more magic,
stew.
with these dinos.
Gas.
So yeah, I'm excited. Some new looking dinos. One looked like a Star Wars Rancor, which was rad.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It looked giant. It looked awesome. I mean, this is dinosaurs, right?
Did you know this has the same cinematographer, John Matheson,
Deakins? Oh.
as, no, not Roger Deakins. There's another cinematographer out there, folks. Believe it or not. The same cinematographer as Logan and Gladiator.
Oh.
So, buckle up.
Oh.
I also read, according to Wikipedia, that they're filming this in 35mm to match the first two.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
that was a 35mm trailer?
35mm. I thought the trailer looked pretty good. The landscape shots felt like vintage Gareth. You know, the
vintage Gareth.
Foresty stuff.
Yeah.
So I looked at the wiki because I was curious about like the production of this movie, and the wiki made it sound like the producers, like Spielberg and friends, they pretty much just had enough, and that whatever director they were going to hire was going to have minimal input. Like, we're taking this franchise back. Like, we've had enough of the Colin Trevorrows of the world, and we need to bring it back to basics. So the writer, the same writer as the first two movie, David Kepster, he's back to form. He's trying to go back to formula, essentially.
Yeah.
They need to right the ship.
Well, I mean, they had the situation that was going on in Annapolis in the Best Friend Cemetery of Michael Crichton's corpse spinning for the past, 5 years straight. They had to do something, right?
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I want to talk about the plot, but the trailer has not been seen by Proto, so I'll withhold.
That's fine.
ScarJo back. Did you know that she was championing to get a job in any Jurassic Park movie for the last decade? She was telling her agent, in any whispers you hear of a Jurassic Park movie, I want in because
she's a fan.
She's a huge Jurassic Park fan.
I mean,
She said she had like a Jurassic
Yeah.
Park tent as a kid growing up. She's one of us.
Okay.
She also looks the part because I've always thought of her, she kind of has features of a bird, which, as we know,
Okay.
birds are direct descendants of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So if you connect the dots.
FEM-BRUARY is our theme this month. Women directors. My pick is next. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a shocking pick.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it on the list?
It's going to blow
Of
minds.
250.
It is.
Or did you go off?
251 on the list.
It's 251. No, it is on the list. Stay tuned.
I'm excited.
That's all I can say for right
Have
now.
all three of us not seen it? That's my question.
Only one of us have logged it, as far as I'm
a
aware.
log.
Only one log has been jobbed for this
Okay.
movie.
Fascinating.
Proto, any ideas what I might be picking later for next week?
The Green Ray.
Is that on
French
there?
New
Damn,
Wave.
I didn't know that was on
Actually,
there.
I have no idea.
That's
I'm
like the
trying to-
only movie that Proto knows that I've covered on the Letterboxd show. And it's probably not even directed by a woman. I don't know who directed it. Sorry, everybody. I don't know who directed that offhand. Let's see. What do we want to get into? Let's say hello to James and Gabriel. They became patrons this week for $4 a month. Got access to our Discord, but early access to episodes and uncut longer episodes as well. We did a little survey. 70% of our patrons prefer the uncut, untouched eps.
Wow.
There was
70% putting you out of a job.
What was the one we did a couple weeks ago? Was it Past Live? That was like 3 hours. That was like our
we went
longest
for a
recording
long
ever, I
time.
think.
Never again.
Proto looked like a beaten man at the end of that night. We should say that we did a bonus episode last week, Friday the 13th, part 3.
Yeah.
We recorded it from North Carolina, our yearly lakehouse trip. Not to be confused with our yearly 70mm summit. Dana,
Not
would
to be
you?
confused with our yearly 70mm meetup.
Oh my God, it's gonna be a busy year.
Yeah.
Any fond memories to that recording, Danny? This is the first one that Jason got the mask.
Oh yeah. That's all I cared about from this movie. So if you want to listen to the episode, that's all I cared about.
Oh, okay.
Recording with Dale Lakeside and the three of us, it's magic every time.
It is.
So we laughed. We had a great time.
Yeah, it was nice to have a little respite from mainlining Royal Rumbles, the history of Royal Rumble, for 72 hours straight. We got, we were able to take a half hour or hour break and record an episode. So that was nice.
I mean, we watched 20 Royal Rumble
20.
matches
At least
in a very
20.
short span.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm like legally a historian on the Royal Rumble.
As I was coming in from outside, James was listening
me.
to the Friday the 13th episode.
Oh, nice.
And I heard it in the basement, and it was us talking about the hammock.
You're poor boy.
Which I think is maybe top 5 favorite segments that I can remember, us talking about the hammock in that movie. So funny.
Oh, man.
Proto, you watched a lot of, let me rephrase, you logged a lot of movies from that lake house
You
weekend.
did.
I did. Yeah.
Anyone stick out?
And yeah, anything that you wanted to bring up? You watched a lot of movies with H and friends from Escape Hatch.
Yeah. We, I think he has some kind of secret cut of the Phantom Menace that we were watching, because there was stuff in this cut that I've never seen before. There was like some strange visual artifacts that were popping up and disappearing. When
I don't like those.
Darth Maul gets out of his ship.
Yeah.
Are you aware of this, Danny?
I don't want to. I don't know what's going to happen. Just say it.
Something has to happen.
What artifact are you talking about?
It was like the ship was like, it's a night scene,
And
and
it's a beautiful ship.
you're looking at it, and it was like white almost, and then it like cut, almost like a filter came off, and then suddenly it was like dark. And me,
Wait,
Catcher, and H, we all looked at each other like, what just happened?
Can you trust an Airbnb TV?
Yeah,
Who was
no,
in
you
charge of the
can't.
settings on this TV?
You can't.
What were you streaming it on?
But can you trust George Lucas either?
I don't know. He seems to be right more these days.
So that was fun. I mean, Star Trek 2009.
Banger.
When?
When?
Yeah. Yeah,
J.J.
seriously.
Abrams. I'm looking at this movie and I'm thinking,
Cooking.
where's J.J.?
So stupid.
Where is he?
I'd love to do a Star Trek month or like a J.J. Abrams month.
Why
or
haven't
something.
we?
Why haven't we covered Star Trek,
on.
the rebooted movie with the Beastie Boys song in it?
Beastie Boy Needle Drop Month. And it's still all
I'm
J.J.
deleting that
Abrams
from the
movies.
episode. I'm deleting that from the uncut. I don't want to have anyone suggest Needle Drop Month ever again.
Sabotage.
Yeah, I mean, the movies were flowing as well. Between the rumbles, the movies were flowing. I also got to sit down. I didn't get to sit down and watch all of these from beginning to end. Okay.
Yeah, we know.
But I did sit down and watch all of No Country for Old Men with dear friend Jonesy Loves Beer from the Twin Vipers podcast. It was his first viewing, so a very special moment to share that movie with him. I hadn't seen it in a while. So that was fun.
You saw his eyes open?
I was actually sitting in front of him, so I didn't see him at all. I only heard the guffaws.
That could have been a tape recorder like the Joker at the end of the Batman movie, just playing that intermittently.
Well, I mean, the sounds that were coming out of him as those 1980 Broncos were appearing on screen.
It was like he was in a hammock in those moments. Did I watch? I don't think I've watched anything. I was going to reveal that. Remember, like a while ago, I said I was watching a television program.
Yeah, you didn't reveal
And
it yet.
I was not going to reveal it.
Twin Peaks.
No, I've seen that many times.
Oh.
Because I'm a real fan. Capital
Go to-
R, capital
go to-
F.
Go to.
I'm currently watching Severance. I was watching it as it came out previously, but maybe I just never talked about it. But I started watching this show Silo. You heard about this?
All right. Cut this turn. Should have kept that
It's
to
okay.
yourself.
It's okay.
Did you read the book?
I remember there was a
Ferguson.
comic book. Okay, folks. Where were you when the comic book was
Oh.
coming out? Wool.
There it is.
Ever heard of it? I was there. Where were you? That's all I have to say. I haven't been watching. I've actually been watching a lot of another show.
Another
What We
one.
Do in Shadows. You heard about
Yeah.
this? The vampire show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Silly.
It's pretty fun.
Silly.
That's all I have to say. Not a lot of movie watching. So it's just one of those months. A lot going on, Not a lot of time for movies. What about you, Danny?
No, I didn't watch anything.
Okay.
Sorry.
Did you want to talk about a movie that you saw playing on that TV that you walked through that room? Did
Listen,
you catch anything?
I was stuck in the kitchen with my back to the TV while I was making chicken nuggets.
Oh my God, those nuggets were amazing.
Homemade nugs. Proto was my sous chef. And someone had to put on a Denis Villeneuve movie behind me that I've never seen before. I don't remember what it was called. Which one was it?
Prisoners?
No,
Was it
Sicario. And I had to keep my back turned for the entire time because I've never seen this film. I'm not going to just watch it in 5-minute increments.
Yeah.
No.
You can't. That's disrespectful. But some other podcast host wanted me to be disrespectful to Denis Villeneuve, and I wouldn't let him have the satisfaction.
He's whoever that host is, probably gonna bring it up on an episode.
I couldn't let him have the satisfaction. So one day we'll cover Sicario on here.
Should we get into A League of Their Own? 1992.
It's time.
Penny Marshall. Danny's redemption pick. Finally redeemed after 5 years. When he did not choose this movie and instead chose Riding in Cars with Boys. It was a shocking turn of events. I think some people quit our Patreon after that episode dropped out of anger. Proto, what's this movie about?
It's 1943 and the world is at war, and America needs baseball. But with the brave boys fighting overseas, it's up to the girls back home to keep our pastime alive. Dottie and Kit Keller are two All-American dairy-fed Oregon ball players. And when Rizzo the Rat offers them a spot in the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, they hit the road across the fruited plain for the love of the game in a league of their own.
I mean, you mentioned Rizzo the Rat. One of my lines is, where was Oscar for John Lovitz in this movie? I guess it's just been a while since I've seen, 90s John Lovitz and anything, but I was all coming back to me. I was like, man, this guy had the juice in the 90s. He had the juice. Toast Modern Art in chat. John Lovitz sucked so hard in this movie. I mean,
wow.
I feel maybe you have to grow up with John Lovitz. I don't know if Toast Modern Art is our age. I grew up with John Lovitz, and I love John Lovitz. He's never been canceled as far as I'm aware, so let's cherish him as long as we can. We have to cherish these uncanceled men. Proto, where were you in 1992? Had you seen A League of Their Own growing up?
I did see it growing up. I feel like everybody saw this growing up. I don't know why. It was like one of these movies. Everybody had a copy of this in their house. I watched it a bunch of times. I was very familiar with this movie. Had it on in the house. Would watch it with my siblings. Good memories.
Yeah, I think this probably was like one of those mythical cable TV movies that was just kind of on a lot. Some television station bought the rights to this and was playing the heck out of it. Because I feel like I've seen, the majority of this movie, but this was the first time I'd sat down to watch it 20 plus years. So this was definitely pre-Letterboxd. We'll get into it, but 1992, I was probably watching a lot of pro wrestling on tape. How old was I? 9. I was 9. I was getting into comic books. I had recently bought my first comic book.
Yeah.
So I was doing comic books and pro wrestling, living the life of a 9-year-old going on 10.
Did you have one of those wrestling buddies? Pillow?
I did not, but I had a friend who was an only child, and like back then, who I would consider like wealthy because of just all the toys that he got.
Yeah.
So I would that was like my wealthy, quote unquote, wealthy friend. He would get like all the toys. He had like Game Boy, virtual Game Boy when that came out.
Yeah.
All the systems. He'd get all the wrestling pay-per-views. So I'd go over to his house. I'd sleep over.
God, the dream.
He had like
we all had one of those friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Looking back, like
Best
it was
friends.
amazing. I mean, I think
Where's he now?
He lived a miserable life probably as a kid. He was always yelling at his parents. He was the stereotypical whiny single child.
But what buddy did he have?
Maybe Ultimate Warrior.
Warrior. That's what I had too. I had Warrior.
Oh yeah, we loved doing wrestling moves on those things. He had like a Ren and Stimpy doll set too that were like kind of big that we would do wrestling moves on. So
fantastic.
Danny, what about you?
Well, I think I'm in the same boat as you, Slim. I probably haven't sat down and watched this since I moved out of my parents' house, probably what feels like 20 plus years ago. Yeah. But in the summer, I grew up playing so much baseball. My sister played softball. My dad played baseball. It's like, it was in our blood. So I think summertime was the most time my sister and I spent home while my parents were at work. So we would watch, I don't think there's another movie outside of maybe episode 1 that I've seen like more of than this movie. Like I've watched, I couldn't even count the amount of times I've seen this movie. I could still quote the lines in this film. Incredible stuff. So yeah, this movie was just like injected into our veins, and my sister and I would just cackle at the Marla Hooch stuff, at Lovitz, the Pickle Tickle, like just insane stuff for kids to be watching, like innuendo stuff that really was still like PG, and it was just some funny stuff.
I was going to do a Mount Rushmore of Penny Marshall movies.
Well,
she doesn't.
That'd be the whole mountain.
Inappropriate.
She doesn't have a whole lot.
Yeah.
Big Awakenings, The Preacher's Wife, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Renaissance Man, and A League of Their Own. So I don't know. What about like Mount Rushmore of sports movies? Did we do this already? We didn't, right?
Sports.
That's a tough one.
Oh. I'm famously not a big fan of them, but I grew up watching so many that I have like kid ones that I love. I mean, I would put this one up there. Definitely Mighty Ducks. I feel like we watched Mighty Ducks a ton. Like a ton. I mean, I could go with a bunch more kid ones, but I think more recently I fell in love with Moneyball. I really loved that, watching that. I had only seen it. I didn't see it like the normal release of it, but watching Moneyball now, I was like, damn, this is a fantastic baseball movie.
Right.
I guess that's my 3.
Proto? I know you're thinking right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find movies, sports movies. I mean, ones that had an effect on me. I remember seeing Remember the Titans in the theater.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was electric.
I think I told this story before, but when I came home from that, I was like, I'm playing in the NFL. That's just I've decided.
It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was pumped up. I was doing like hiking the ball in our basement. Like I was just like fired up. Me and my friends, like that movie had legs for a long time. We were just obsessed with that.
That was also like, depending on how old you are, you seeing that in theaters, like that's a formative movie that essentially educates you that racism is really bad. And that like if you grew up loving Remember the Titans, you grew up pretty okay, I think, in the grand scheme of things.
It did a lot of work behind the scenes for a lot of kids, probably.
It did.
Baseball wise, I always had a soft spot for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that movie growing up. That was one of my faves. And I don't know if this counts technically as a sports movie, but Nacho Libre.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, peak.
Huge.
For me.
Yeah. Did we ever figure out what the other baseball kid movie was besides Rookie of the Year?
Well, there's a couple. Angels in the Outfield. That's it.
That's it.
I don't know what the one you were thinking of, though.
I can't remember either.
It had
Maybe it's
just been
Angels in
Rookie of the Year.
Outfield. I thought
was it Sandlot?
There's got to be some other Rookie of the Year knockoff.
Yeah, I feel like there is. I can't think of it.
But so far, we don't know. Little Big League, Mike Scott says. I don't think so. One of the sports movies that came to mind was Any Given Sunday. Oliver Stone.
I didn't like that movie.
I would love for us to do that on the show.
I've wanted to see that.
Al Pacino. My God. I mean, he's on a tear in that movie. Absolute tear. Al Pacino, Cameron Diaz, Dennis Quaid, James Woods, Jamie Foxx, LL Cool J, Matthew Modine, Lawrence Taylor, Bill Bellamy, Aaron Eckhart, Charlton Heston, Oliver Stone.
Maybe you're thinking of Keanu Reeves's Hardball.
No.
Okay.
The Replacements was on at the gym recently, though. I'd never seen that movie. I watched
you didn't see
the last part of it.
Yeah, it's looking like it's either Sandlot, Rookie of the Year, Little Big League for baseball kid movies.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you're missing. Angels in the Outfield.
League.
Rudy?
Maybe, I think it is Little Big League. I just looked at one photo and it seems like it's it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Other than that, Mighty Ducks, I recently rewatched Mighty Ducks.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I didn't love it recently. It's 2019, so I don't know why I thought that was more recent. But Creed, have you guys seen Creed?
No.
Oh my God.
I'm not a boxing fan, so I was
blown away. I watched that for the first time 2023. It's insane. I'm gonna, you know what else I'm gonna throw into this Mount Rushmore?
Yeah,
Jerry Maguire.
Okay.
Cameron Crowe.
All right.
Okay.
Extremely goated filmmaker in this era.
Cameron
what's not to love about Jerry Maguire? Amazing scenes, classics.
You guys ever seen Hoosiers?
Oh, ages.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it.
Ages.
This was another movie we had on VHS, and I was legit like terrified of Gene Hackman in this movie.
Yeah,
he's really scary.
Well, how about that sweater vest he's got on?
Oh yeah, babe.
So I mentioned Penny Marshall. I don't think I've seen any of her other movies.
You haven't seen Big.
I've seen Big, but when I was younger, I can't remember the last time I watched Big.
Yeah.
So I think those two Awakenings I've always wanted to see. Robert De Niro and Robin Williams.
I actually looked at that for this month.
I thought you were picking that.
I think it's ranked pretty high.
3.9.
Because I think it's our highest rated one.
Penelope Aunt Miller is in it.
It's got a crazy cast. I watched the trailer and I'm like, I don't know if we'll love this. But I've based that on a trailer, so.
But anyway, Penny Marshall is Danny's pick. League of Their Own, Gina Davis. What's the top of your list?
She is. She really is the top of my list. You know what? I think the crazy thing about Gina, I mean, she really carries this film. It's got so many great actors, but she's like just electric from the beginning when she's playing with Kit on the field, and just her whole demeanor of, she's going to do what she can until her husband comes home from war. And then join the league just because, to give Kit the option. I mean, I would play baseball now for $75 a week if I could.
That's $1,300 a week in today's money.
My God.
That's $2,600 a paycheck, folks. Paid twice a month.
And it's just like Gina throughout this entire film, she's just every situation she's in, whether it's, just being a great baseball player or being there for her sister or, putting her sister in her place, leading her team. The moments with her and Jimmy and Tom are fantastic. The bus scene comes to mind, the two of them together. And then her leaving, like her choosing to leave when Bob gets home from war. I mean, her whole performance in this film, I'm not even sure who won Oscar that year, but it really bugs me that it probably wasn't her. I just love Gina in this film. I think she's stunning in this entire film, especially as a catcher. But yeah, I think Gina's incredible in this movie. And this was back to back. Year 91 was Thelma and Louise, 92 was A League of Their Own, and just some incredible. She's a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what can you say? What else can you say about Gina? I love her too in this. I think she's great.
Yeah. I was thinking of like modern day Dottie as a catcher. Like the rugby team, she's become like a sensation. Is it Ilana?
Oh, she's great.
Mar, the rugby player.
Ileana.
She that's the first thing I thought of. Like she's like a complete sensation in the rugby world, but then also like, modern day, she's jumping into other areas. But that was like what Gina Dottie could have done in the 40s, I feel like, if not for Bill Pullman coming home from the war, the Great War.
The Great War.
Yeah, I love Gina. She's amazing. Is this her second appearance on the pod after Thelma and Louise?
After Thelma? Yeah, maybe. Probably.
She's also in The Fly.
Oh, The Fly.
Oh, Beetlejuice as well. Okay, yeah, I'm way off. My mouth has gotten worse. My math has gotten worse. Can't even speak. But yeah, Gina. I mean, the cast is great. Gina, Lori Petty, Rosie O'Donnell, Madonna.
Your voice cracked when you said that.
Madonna.
I'm reverting back to my teenage self. She actually isn't in it that much that I would have thought. Like the Madonna casting, I don't know. She's like not in it a whole lot.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's like an ensemble-ish kind of cast.
Mm-hmm.
Also, remember how big and in terms of popularity, her like morning, midday TV talk show, Rosie O'Donnell, she was like Johnny Carson.
Huge.
When she had that show. Like it can't be understated how popular Rosie O'Donnell was at that time. Everyone was going on that show.
Yeah.
What a strange era.
I think she would fire into the crowd. What would she launch into the crowd? What were those called?
Firecrackers.
Like toys. Just launching firecrackers into the audience. That's how she got canceled.
She would call people cutie patooties.
No.
You remember that?
But
my mom must have watched it a lot. Does anyone remember Rosie O'Donnell?
I don't think anyone knows the Rosie O'Donnell show.
I was in kindergarten at the time. Wasn't watching Rosie.
Listen, pull up Rosie O'Donnell clips on YouTube of her talk show, and it'll blow your mind. Okay?
It was huge.
Hillary says, I remember. Hillary's standing with me right now. I appreciate it.
I mean, she was great in this. At the end, like that final World Series game, it's not like she was speaking in tongues on the field when she's like yelling and stuff. Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm. I tried to see like what Tom Hanks's career was like, and some of the articles that I read, it was, he was coming out of like a slump, but this helped him transition to the more like serious stuff that he eventually did and was known for. How he got like back-to-back Oscar wins, eventually. Talk about being a gigantic star. Tom Hanks too, after this time period.
Yeah, I wanted to see. I meant to sort by the.
Oh yeah, look at this. All right,
he had to have a serious tear at this point.
next year he does Sleepless in Seattle,
Jesus.
Philadelphia, and then 94 he has Forrest Gump, 95 Apollo 13, and Toy Story.
Jeez.
God.
What a run.
Yeah, he owned the 90s. Man.
I mean, how rich is Tom Hanks in that time period? Like, what's Tom Hanks's life
Wait,
like?
I think he does back-to-back movies where he fights over the same girl with Bill Pullman. Sleepless in this one.
Whoa.
Oh my God, you're right.
Bill Pullman kind of looked like a goober.
How about Bill Pullman playing a Bob from the military, just like his son in Maverick, playing Bob?
Wow.
Harriet the Spy movie Hillary's talking about with Rosie O'Donnell. About get up, both of them. Hannah in chat, Bill Pullman is a goober.
What?
Any thoughts?
I mean, Hannah, he's also your president, so relax.
Yeah, I don't remember. There's like a lot of things I didn't remember in this movie. The bookend, like the modern day bookend.
Yeah.
I didn't remember any of that. And I didn't remember like really any storyline. So like Tom Hanks and her Dottie kind of like flirting and, they're not like, it isn't like will they, won't they? I was like, I wonder where this storyline is going between the two of them because her husband is at the war.
Yeah.
And maybe dead. So like, what's going to happen here?
Deleted scene that was very controversial for this film.
Whoa.
You know the scene when Tom is taking like batting practice alone on the baseball field? The deleted scene is Dottie is seeing him take batting practice and she goes out to like talk to him or something. And he like leans in for a kiss. And then that's the scene where she storms off and leaves the team. And that's how that kind of transitions. What? And so everyone hated that. Like they hated that part of the movie. So it had to be cut. But then like them having a romantic moment or him leaning in for a kiss. It was just very, apparently a lot, even like I think that I read that the actual baseball players had seen that moment from the older women. They're like, this would not have happened. Not a chance.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the way she exits, like Bill Pullman comes home from the war, so she leaves, and they're about to go to the World Series, and she misses 6 of the games. It just felt like, I don't know, but wouldn't Bill be like, you know what, this is great. We can hang around town. You can play in the World Series. What am I going to do? I have a broken foot. I'll just sit and watch you play the sport that you love. Yeah. Maybe like
you're the Michael Jordan of female women's baseball.
Dottie, we need to go home. It's me, Bill Pullman. Let's go home. Drive me home. Leave this now.
Yeah, she was on. What was the magazine that she was in?
Time or Life. Yeah, she was on the cover.
She's the cover of Life magazine. Like, please, Dottie.
Karen in chat. She didn't want to go in the first place. She went for Kit. So
she wanted to milk cows.
Take me back to the udders.
$1,300 a week. Come on. I mean, actually, what's Bill Pullman going to be taken home for the rest of his days? He's got a military injury.
Oh, how does that work?
Have to work a day in his life, probably. Thank you for your service, Bill.
Let her play ball, Bill.
Proto, top of your list.
Top of my list is the incredible re-aging that is done in this movie. I forgot about how it starts in the 80s and then flashes back. But then at the end of the movie, it has this funny bookend where it goes to her going to this reunion and like this opening of the museum for the girls' league. And I was just like amazed at how like every actress they have casted for the younger versions, to me, like was very convincing, as if this could have been that could have been Rosie O'Donnell's mom.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I thought that with like all of them. I couldn't believe how like they nailed every single character in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, for the longest time, I just thought that was them in makeup. Honest to God, and I think is because of that, because they dub her voiceover. They dubbed Gina's voiceover the lady's voice. And for the longest time, I was like, oh, they just put makeup on these women. The magic of cinema.
Yeah, it really is.
Was George Lucas involved in the production of this movie? Lucasfilm, ILM taking over. Yeah, I was shocked when, I mean, the movie starts out with older Dottie and her daughter. I couldn't believe like this. She's not that old. I feel like older Gina Davis. I was like, how old is she? Like 55? This actress? I didn't think she was like grandmother age. And I don't know, maybe every grandmother I know is like way older. But I was like, she looks young and spry right now for a grandmother.
Yeah, I had that feeling too because I felt like my grandparents were so old. So when I look at this lady, I'm like, she's not a grandma.
Yeah.
She's not that old.
She could do like jumping jacks right now and not be in a wheelchair afterward. Like she could do a lot right now. She's fantastic. The dubbing of her voice, I thought, worked pretty well, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Danny, next on your list.
I want to talk about, well, I don't want to get to the finale just yet, but I would like to talk about the Game 7 filming. I feel like there's not I can't think of another sports movie where I feel like a match or a game is as perfectly edited and filmed as this Game 7, with the tension, not just between Dottie and Kit, just like the tension of a Game 7 as a whole. I think Penny Marshall was incredibly brilliant in how she cut and edited and filmed this, like even leading up, even the whole World Series itself with Dottie not there, the first 6 games, the montages, watching these women play. I mean, they could play ball better than I could play baseball. And it's like watching, incredibly talented people on screen, and the editing, the music, Hans Zimmer's score, like that Game 7 is like electric. And if there was ever a time where I'm like either scrolling, TV or whatever, and I saw this on, I'm watching the end of this movie every time because it's magic. That whole baseball segment is magic.
Party, you're the baseball expert, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean it's some good baseball, but as we know, baseball is a dying sport, and something has to change. We have to do We have to do something for this sport. And if I could just take a moment,
yeah,
I have a solution. Okay. I've been talking about this for years, and I think we can really save baseball with just a few changes.
Okay.
First, we need more scoring. That is what people come to see. They want to see scoring. So what we do, instead of 9 innings, instead of 9 innings with 3 outs, we have 3 innings with 9 outs. So a team comes up to bat, they have 9 outs, and you do that, and then you switch off, and you just do that for 3 innings. Okay? You'd get more batters. It takes longer. You have to, maybe a pitcher only goes 1 inning because there's 9 outs. Changes the formula of the game, speeds it up. Also, what we do, bases right now, there may be 12 by 12 inches, right? We're going to bump those up. We're going to go like 48 by 48 inches.
Jesus.
And maybe like 6 inches off the ground, like a giant pillow. It just make it more easier for the people in the, the nosebleed seats to see what's going on, the action, understand the field better. So I think if we implement these rules, maybe some other things we can talk about it, but I think this would just change everything. They really need to shake things up in baseball. I know Danny's saying it's electric, but that's the power of editing in a baseball movie. I felt it, but when you're there in the stadium, it feels much different.
It's really funny because this week, George started Little League for the first time. He's in this rookie hybrids league or whatever. It's like a in between. And so we were at the first practice on Tuesday night, and in Florida right now, we're coming out of winter, coming into spring. It's this great, the evenings are in like the 60s, and I'm sitting on a ball field watching my son play baseball. And I texted Casey. I said, is baseball the greatest sport ever? I'm like having an absolute electric moment watching him play. The smell of a ball field, the clay, the dirt. It's just like, it was magic. Like baseball is magic.
What did Casey reply with?
She told me, I don't know what she told me. Hell, no. Should I scroll back through my text and see
You
what she
deleted
said?
it. You blocked her.
I would
after her
never
response.
delete a text.
I think back of those memories of being a kid in the dugout,
Oh,
and it was like peak life.
yeah.
It really was.
Completely agree.
I mean, I think like any sport has that. For me, it was like baseball more than like soccer or basketball. Like baseball, just the vibe of a dugout, just hanging around, not paying attention necessarily to what's going on, kicking dirt in the dugout. Oh God, it was the best.
It did look desirable in this movie. Like, there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, Tom Hanks is a drunk and he's just at these games, just relaxing, working off his hangover.
Yeah.
And the sun is out and the vibe of the like stadium, like this looks like
You're getting it.
if it was the 1940s, yeah, I'd probably like be more into this than modern day. Because I was like, one of my points was, what the heck, baseball in the 40s, like what do people do? Like when you compare
What does that mean?
what do you compare to like what we can do and just like kill our time with today?
Right.
I'm talking about like in the 40s, you had movies, go to the movies, and you had like newsreels or whatever before the movie. That was your TV. And then you had sports like baseball. And then you had the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you could go to baseball games,
Yeah.
that's it. Like you're not doing much else. So like you're incredibly invested in the sport. So like I can understand, I'm not a big baseball person, FYI. So I can understand in the 40s and like way back then where this became like the national pastime.
Yeah.
Because this was like the most exciting thing you could do. Go to the ballpark, get some popcorn with your friends and watch the game. And then you go home, you fire up the radio, listen to a few serials, and then you go to bed. That's it.
That's what I found odd about not every time, but recently after watching this, reading how they downplayed the women's baseball league so much in this film that, like, I guess midway through this movie, they're talking about how we got to pick up numbers or we're not going to make it through this season or the next. But it was, when you read about the women's baseball league, it was electric from the beginning because of where they placed it in the U.S., up in the Midwest. It was so hard for them to get they had no televised baseball in that area. So going to baseball games is all they could really do. So it was huge numbers for the women's baseball league that it lasted a decade. And the only real reason that this died off is because people stopped going because they could get televised baseball games easier 10 years later. So it's like, I found it odd that they played it off like this was going to die out after 6 games into the season.
Interesting.
Yeah, they really do build that up like that. It's just like teetering on just not surviving at all.
Yeah, let's get her to do a split for the cover so that we can sell more baseball games, which I thought was...
I was also, while we were watching this, I was thinking of just like, you form a new baseball league. How do you get the word out that this is happening? Like, would they... Like, this probably sounds so stupid, but like, I seriously, like, would they, I mean, for something like of this size, like, I don't know, like, would they have like a news crew that would go out ahead of time with like posters going throughout towns, like, hey, in your area, there's going to be this new league of women baseball players, come out to the stadium to see it? Or like, I guess, did they do like radio ads, like locally? Like, how did they drum up the word that it was happening?
Yeah, a couple of people in chat saying newspapers, radio shows.
Yeah. Well, they were playing on they were playing on the minor league fields that the men played on. So I guess if you're paying attention to these places, you would know that there's sports happening. So maybe you would just kind of meander over as well. There's a ball game on.
I mean, how much was a ticket? 5 cents?
You probably could have traded it for an ear of corn.
Yeah. 5 cents got you a ticket and 2 hot dogs and a soda.
Right.
Same price as a Costco. I mean, that was my main point. It's just like I also just researched. I guess dance halls were really popular too. Just like going to listen to music and dancing. What a time! What a friggin' time! Every house had a radio, and that was it.
That's when they remembered they had Madonna in this movie. They're like, hey, wait a minute. Let's give her a dance hall where we can really let Madonna shine. God.
That was like an R-rated dance they were doing there.
Electric.
That a soldier had at least 20 years of dancing experience. The way he was moving his legs,
soldiers
his
ever danced
straightened
better.
legs. Get out of here. Proto, next on your list?
Let's see. Oh my gosh. The end of the movie, the World Series, Tia Leone
She shows up.
showing up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm thinking like, why didn't she have a leading role in this? I'm just in love with Tia whenever I see her.
Yeah.
Can someone make a supercut of all the times Proto has brought up Tia Leone on this show?
I mean, the Racine Bells, the reason they won? Leone?
Who cares about the ball drop?
Yeah.
What show? What TV show did she have? Didn't she have like a popular sitcom or something?
Deep Impact.
Trying to research here.
I don't know.
The Naked Truth, starring Tia Leone. Was that it?
I don't know.
Her breakthrough role was in the 1995 action comedy Bad Boys.
Yeah, baby.
Tia
Never
Leone
seen it.
month. We can do Bad Boys.
Absolute
finally.
banger.
Danny loves that franchise.
Oh, but that's a good point. Bringing up the baseball, the scene. I mean, I think we have to get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
The question, the age-old question: did Dottie drop the ball on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
or was she attempting to get her sister out?
Danny, you go
What's
first.
the truth?
Danny, you go first.
I would love to hear what you got because I've had these conversations before. So let's hear it.
I mean,
Proto,
Slim's
you go
producing.
first.
Slim's producing.
Slim, you
He
go
said
first.
Danny first. You said it. I'm sorry,
you said
I can't.
first.
I can't.
I will say that I think she dropped it on purpose.
Hmm.
I think she was trying to right the
Elaborate.
wrongs. She's finally
What
letting
wrongs?
her. I mean, her sister, Kit,
Mm-hmm.
can't
The
catch a break. She has a miserable life living in Dottie's shadow.
Mm-hmm.
She finally gets her chance in the sun, and Dottie's like, "Yeah, let's get this over with. Give her the World Series. I'm gonna go be with my dud husband, Bill Pullman, for the rest of my life."
Of course she dropped it on purpose.
Mm.
I mean,
Thank you.
leading up to this point, Dottie has done everything right. She never fails. She never makes a mistake. She gets it all right. She gets her way. She's the best. And then she has her kid sister here who, for Dottie didn't even want to be here. This barely means anything to her. She'd rather be milking a cow, making her a ham sandwich for her husband, Bill, back at home than being in this game. So you think she's not going to drop the ball for her kid sister, who's really like, this is the peak of Kit's life. Like, this is her moment. If she doesn't win this, she's crushed forever. So
Yeah.
Dottie, she's like, what am I like? Of course I'm giving this up for my little sister. But she's not going to say she did it on purpose. She's going to play it off. Like, that's just what you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. Dottie, and we all know Dottie. She's going to do what's right. And that was the right thing to do.
There you have it. Cut it. Danny, any thoughts?
No, I think you're both absolutely wrong. And she did not drop it on purpose. And this idea that Dottie didn't care about baseball is nonsense.
You're saying that's fake news.
Why would she have driven back from Yellowstone or Yosemite or wherever she made it to come back for Game 6 because she didn't want to win this fucking game?
Why did she leave in the first place?
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
But why'd she even bother coming back? And also,
Bad writing.
You can't tell me that 3 minutes before this happens, that she walks to the mound and tells the pitcher not only how to strike out Kit, but how to absolutely embarrass the shit out of her in the final out of Game 7 of the first World Series. It makes absolutely no sense that she would do this to Kit and then just, oh, wait, she hit the ball. I was wrong. Let me just drop it when she charges me on the plate. No, out of here. Nonsense.
Danny, you're going to need to upgrade your brain because that was reverse mind games. Obviously, reverse mind games.
You're
Kit
out of your mind.
knows-
Did you
Kit
even
knows her
watch
own
the
weakness,
film?
And Dottie went to the mound knowing that Kit knows what she's going to tell her. She's going to chase the hot ones. And Dottie believes in her sister and she knows that she can hit them.
It's a landslide.
She was giving her what she
You're
needed.
out of your mind.
There's a vote in chat right now. Did Dottie drop the ball on purpose? It's a landslide. 86% of live listeners right now say yes.
Hold on,
landslide.
Let me click.
This is Pennsylvania all over again.
There, 73%.
It's happening. The voters have spoken.
It's okay.
For better or
I'll
worse.
get the DMs in private of people who don't want to have to worry about being
DMs.
chastised. I mean, there's no way she dropped the ball on purpose.
It's a landslide.
Did you even watch the film? That's not even like in her character to give up the
but
fucking
that's what's
game.
great about this, right? Is
There's
that we can all
way.
choose what it means for
We can
ourselves.
choose our own
And
truth.
Yeah, we can choose our own truth. It's within the spectrum of truth for both to be true.
But so at the end, you get the bookends of them older, and you have this really awkward moment where Tom Hanks is dead, and you see that he's died. Like, what is going on there? It felt like the weirdest thing. But then you're wondering where Kit is, because Dottie's just meandering around alone, no family at all that we're aware of.
Right.
With her. Why wouldn't her family come with her to this event? And then you see Kit show up. Kit's
Because
got
Dottie didn't even want to play baseball at all. Why would they go?
Kit has 30 family members with her to come see this joyous moment. It's kind of like inferred. I don't know if it's inferred, but like, I'm guessing they talk to each other in the decades since, right? But they make it look like there's still some kind of rift.
Yeah.
Proto, did you get that from that scene?
Yeah, it's kind of, there's like a weird awkwardness between them where it's almost like, wait a second, is this the first time they've seen each other since they parted ways back in 1943?
Right.
It did have like a weird sense that there was like some kind of distance between them for most of their lives.
And I don't even really understand what would cause that distance. I don't know. I feel like they would have reconciled after the big game. You know, Kit has her dreams realized. She becomes a star in the later years. She is now a mother to presumably 5 kids. They multiply. She's a grandmother. They're all with her at this event. I don't know. Just didn't. I mean, essentially, I just felt bad for Dottie. Felt bad for Gina Davis's character in the later years.
Mm-hmm. I thought that whole museum kind of segment's a little bit corny.
Let it out.
Yeah, it's definitely a little corny.
Hannah and chat, they are very different and just slowly grow apart. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. Danny, final note?
I mean, I just have like a bunch of things written down. A lot of Tom Cruise moments or Tom Hanks moments. Scratching his balls for 5 innings. If you're going to do something, do it to whatever he says. It's hilarious. When he hits Stillwell in the face with a glove is like,
oh my God,
one of my favorite cinematic moments of all time. No crying in baseball has to be like top tier quoted movie moments. That scene where he's taking a picture of one of the ladies' strawberries on her leg. That was a real injury that they filmed. She had that was from sliding into second, and it took a whole year before that bruise finally went away on her leg.
A year?
Yeah, it took a year for that to heal.
What the?
Absolutely insane. The moment with the Western Union guy, I want to strangle him. Like, I want to strangle that guy's whole moment in the film. And you know, it's funny because when I watched this as a kid, the Western Union moment didn't really mean really anything to me except like a guy died in war. Like, that wasn't like, I didn't have like any real context to what that meant. But watching it now, that scene is absolutely brutal. And the way, I mean, Tom Hanks throwing him out, like I'm finally getting it. Like, I'm fist pumping that moment. Like, yes, throw that Joker out of that room. And I mean, you know, Tom was like, gosh, I hope it's Bob so I can have a shot.
Praying
he thought it was hoping it was Bob.
Please, Bill Pullman be dead right now so I can Move in on Gina Davis right now. Please, God.
Oh, Lord.
Before you go any further, let's listen to a
Oh.
VM from Grace.
Hey folks, Grace again, a humble FEM-BRUARY correspondent here to offer my thoughts on A League of Their Own. I'll be honest, I've never been the biggest fan of this film. It might be because I don't have a sister, or because I never liked how crass Tom Hanks' character is, or because I absolutely loathed playing softball as a kid.
Oof.
I puzzled a lot over what to focus this VM on. There's female solidarity in women's sports, queer undertones in female-driven movies, or the curse of being a fan of underfunded things. Something that jumped out to me was the quote from The Investor where he says, "I don't need him, but I love him." And it's just so frustrating to see how blatantly women were and are often seen as a commodity, something to be utilized and featured only when the best thing is no longer available. I appreciate Danny picking this film for the week because while it's a classic, I feel like there are still so many topics or moments in this film that feel radical, in a way. I mean, just to have a group of women from all over North America come together to play organized baseball at this point in time was a remarkable feat. Now, a little call to action.
Uh-oh.
Try to seek out women's sports. Their popularity is an all-time high, so not to shame y'all, but there's literally no excuse. There are so many kinds of sports and athletic events that there should be something for everyone. Maybe your town has a new women's league that would love an audience, or there's a women's sports bar that just opened up who needs patrons. We need people to be allies so that investors can see that we are worth it, that women are worth it, in order to garner support and fight for equal pay. Also, if you're looking for a quick watch, check out the League of Their Own TV show on Prime. It's such a good piece of media that was canceled way too soon. I'm so glad we were able to watch this as a community, and I'm excited to hear next week's pick. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Grace. Grace has done it again.
Our women correspondent. February.
I mean, I love watching the PWHL women's hockey. It's so readily available on YouTube. Thank God. Please just get out there. You know, please,
Get out there.
Please. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Grace.
Women's Royal Rumble. Caleb in chat.
Yeah,
it was
we
very
watched
good. Yep.
It was fantastic.
Alexa Bliss.
Ian
Going out
weeping
dirty.
on that IG story that I posted after she got eliminated.
What else did I have?
How about the bus driver throwing dirt in the woman's face?
What the hell?
I mean, that kid almost killed everyone on that bus.
It's true.
Let's be honest.
Kid was a
Friggin'
menace.
kid. Having him come back as the older person, I thought that was weird. That was weird too.
Yeah, that's odd.
Also, isn't he like the bully from Pee Wee Herman? That actor?
Is that him?
Pretty sure.
Oh my God.
I have nightmares about that guy.
This is still, as of now, the highest grossing baseball film of all time, which is incredible.
Wow.
Wow. More than Field of Dreams or like Moneyball?
Yeah. Still
That's
beats out
nuts.
Field of Dream and Moneyball, which is crazy. There was something else. I don't have it in my notes, but I thought there was one more thing I wanted to bring up.
The 12-year-old cabbie driver that wanted to have sex?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he shot a shot.
Shoot your shot. Right?
He shot a shot. You put yourself in his shoes.
He probably had to go work in the coal mine the next morning.
Oh, I just wrote down Madonna. I think she's pretty great in this as an actress. I think she's definitely better. This is, I mean, better than Dick Tracy, but
Wrong.
I think she's great in this. I think she's really funny. Yeah, I'm still at 5 stars for this film.
5 bang.
I love this film. It could easily be top 4 for me somewhere along the line. Maybe I have to figure out how to do like top 5s. The Marla Hooch stuff is hilarious to me. Love her moments with her father.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Just good moments. Good
I
vibes.
think Penny Marshall's the first woman director with a $100 million grossing film also. And I tried to read a little bit about her, you know, how come she didn't make more. Like, I don't know why I should assume she would want to make more, but I guess directing wasn't really like her calling. She just said she went with the flow. Also, she had some illness stuff pop up later in life. A lot of montages in this.
Yeah.
Montage City. I mean, how about the one gal going to get married? I mean, how
That's
long is the
Marla.
season? Right?
She quit to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is wild. That's a wild choice, I feel, for Marla. I mean, I don't know. She seemed like the one person that would be like...
She's like the Babe Ruth of this league.
Yeah.
Switch hitter.
Right. The switch hitter.
Sock and dingers.
I like DiMaggio.
Mm-hmm.
But she found love.
I love the inside of the train. I mean, that train was like a luxury first class. That area, the inside of that train was insane.
Oh, with Lovitz?
Yeah. My one line, Oscar for Lovitz, ? Nothing's ever going to happen here. You got to go where things happen. Let's see. Oh, the radio voice was Mr. Burns.
That was Mr. Burns?
Harry Shearer. I mean, he did many other Simpsons characters, but... Priest dropping his Bible when Madonna was giving confession. What was that guy hearing in there?
The goods.
When the one gal, I can't remember her character's name, she's like, has anyone seen my new red hat? And someone's like, piss on your hat. Well, that seemed uncalled for. Bad timing. The quote, it's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. The hard is what makes it great. That was a nice line. 4 stars for League of Their Own.
Okay.
Still a lot of fun. It's a little bit long. I probably would have cut some of the little like later stuff. Just comes off as like weird now. The dead Tom Hanks. There's just like, I don't know, the way that their relationship just like stopped. Not like a relationship, but like them knowing each other, and she just leaves. And then, oh, he's dead.
It is a weird to come off that World Series game into that Hall of Fame kind of moment. It is a little bit of a wet blanket.
But I do like the montage of the modern day women playing. Like I like that. Like I thought that was good. And like during the credits, I think that plays like during the entire credits. We have another letter from Emma. Subject line, A League of Their Own. Hey gang, FEM-BRUARY correspondent Emma J here to chime in on the best baseball movie of all time. I trust you'll have already brought up the most important moments by now, so I want to shout out the father-daughter relationships in this film and say hi to my own dad, who I'm sure will hear this at some point. Dad, I'm so grateful that we share a love for movies and baseball, and that you took a chance on this dope podcast I recommended called 70mm. Hopefully they pick something good for next week. Am I right? Thank you, Danny, Proto, and Slim, for creating this space in which I can nerd out amongst some of the kindest people around. Danny, I hope your, quote, the brutalist poster arrives safe and sound. It's in?
It's in. It's on my, it came in today.
Oh my God.
Blessings.
Sending love to you all, Emma J. What a letter.
Wow.
Hey, Emma J's dad. I hope you like the show. We're not experts. Please, God, Emma J's dad.
Emma J's dad, I need his take on the ending of the film.
Yeah.
Did Dottie drop the ball? Tell me it's nonsense, Mr.
I mean,
J.
alone.
Danny
She
still has
goes.
doubts.
She goes to see all her friends alone. It's very sad.
I'm talking about the baseball game.
Alone. She dropped the ball on purpose.
Alone.
Quote unquote. Kit made it all happen. End quote. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
We can infer many things from that quote, but we don't have time to get into it. Proto, closing thoughts, Menchie's?
Closing thoughts. Tom Hanks, he does make a great baseball manager in this. He's really gross and disgusting for a lot of it, but I think that's part of the magic,
He's foul.
Baseball is a disgusting sport, and he communicated that. Also, his limp. What he was doing with his right leg, I was convinced that it was broken.
That had to cause like permanent damage to his leg after filming this movie.
He had to gain 30 pounds for this role.
Really?
Yeah, I read something he like was constantly at Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
I can't deal with the mental, like, I need to put on 30 pounds for this role. I feel like there's just too much mental anguish.
Christian Bale, eat your heart out. Yeah, this is good. I'm at 3 stars for this. I think it's good. It doesn't get me over the line, so to speak. But it's a nice enough movie, and Jenna, she was crying by the end of it.
Oh. Jenna watched it with you.
No. but she was there at the end.
She just walks in during the last 5 minutes and starts crying.
Yeah, basically.
I can't
Oh,
believe
my
Kit
God.
knocked the ball out of her hand.
It's classic, Jenna.
Classic Jenna.
Okay. FEM-BRUARY moves ever forward. Just a reminder, the last week of the month will be selected by our women members of the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
They're in charge of it. They're going to do some kind of like, I don't know what they're doing. Hillary is in charge. There's many correspondents, some kind of voting apparatus. I don't know. But next week is my pick.
Okay.
This was difficult. I have a private list on Letterboxd that's just called 70mm options. I almost picked Bottoms, Emma Seligman's directed movie. Rachel Sennett came out a little bit ago, 2023. Feels like longer, but it was like a dark comedy. I also almost picked Mississippi Masala.
Okay. Never heard of it.
No? Oh my God. Maybe one day. But I saw one movie on the top 200, 250 list that just felt like it needed to happen.
Okay.
2008.
Okay.
Phillida Lloyd, Mamma Mia.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You picked Mamma Mia.
This is streaming on Max. I've never seen this movie.
I've never seen it.
I hear people talking about Mamma Mia this, Mamma Mia that, musical, greatest movie of all time. Donna, an independent hotelier, is preparing for her daughter's wedding with the help of 2 old friends. Meanwhile, Sophie, the spirited bride, has a plan. She invites 3 men from her mother's past in hope of meeting her real father. Hello. Pierce, look at this backdrop on Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This is nuts.
Meryl Streep, goated.
Is that Harry Styles? Who's that guy?
That's Pierce Brosnan. So I think there's like some ABBA music.
ABBA.
We're talking about classic rock.
Classic rock.
There you go.
Not even the top 20 in America, ABBA.
We'll settle the debate.
Yeah.
Proto, how you feel? This is next week's pick.
Oh man, Jenna's going to be very excited for this. I watched this a couple years ago. My review, I didn't give any stars, but I said cinematic equivalent to eating the entire Taco Bell menu. I don't even know what I meant by that.
Oh my God. Phillida Lloyd also directed The Iron Lady 2011 with Meryl. Teamed up again, and a bunch of Macbeth Shakespeare stuff.
Okay.
With some pretty cool posters, actually. Harriet Walter.
You know, they won't let us do musical month, so we just have to find another way to make it happen.
Yeah. We have to find another gear somehow, some way. Proto, closing thoughts this week.
Oh, here we go again. This is going to be great. Mamma Mia on the menu. This is what the people wanted. I mean, so this month is going to wrap up beautifully, I think. Can't wait to see what the women of our community have planned for the final month. But this looks great. I can't wait for next week. Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
Nope, that's the other one.
I mean, maybe we'll do the sequel at some point too, but next week, Mamma Mia streaming on Max. $70mm is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large
Dale_A, and music composed by Cinematrix. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to Pro or Patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.